Marketing a restaurant. Is it challenging? The single location full-service restaurants industry has experienced steady growth over the last 5 years. Since 2013, the growing domestic economy and rising consumer spending have led to consistent increases in full-service restaurant spending. The fine dining segment has done particularly well over the past 5 years due to solid growth in the income levels of affluent consumers and an expanding corporate sector. This is the very market that up-and-coming restaurant Fellow is targeting. Conversely, restaurants at the lower end of the market have struggled with low growth as consumers have traded down to the innovative products served by a growing number of new, high-quality, fast casual chains. IBIS World states that in 2018 alone, revenue continued its upward trajectory, growing approximately 2.6%. Because Fellow was able to identify a specific need in a prime location, they are projected to have healthy profit margins for the foreseeable future. Fellow offers food selections for all consumers, from the health-conscious to those who don't track eating habits at all.
The marketing challenge. The primary challenge for Fellow was finding the right location in an already saturated market. With Los Angeles having a variety of restaurants in many areas, how do you find the right spot where you can stand out? Well, just ask Terry Tolba and Philip Camino. They searched all over LA and ended up choosing Westwood as the area of Los Angeles to open their restaurant. They realized this area did not offer a concept and brand designed to attract young professionals, startup families, UCLA faculty, and other groups that often found themselves surrounded by sports bars and drunk college students whenever they went out in the area. This was their target market, and they identified that void immediately. The atmosphere, progressive cocktail program, dinner menu, and pricing of their menu items were all designed to attract the desirable crowd they want to fill the space each night. They will inevitably get some college kids in the restaurant, but they are outside of the targeted clientele.
Terry and Philip collaborated with a couple of office delivery partners that cater large quantity orders for corporations in LA. Those partners marketed Fellow to their corporate customers through their platforms. Terry said, "Within 30 days, we had signed on to serve Netflix, Bird Scooters, WAG, Activision, Live Nation, Oppenheimer, Spotify, and eHarmony, just to name a few." Marketing through third-party vendors that had relationships with these businesses and introducing our brand to them in our infancy stage gave us a vehicle for generating income while waiting on the city of LA to get our permits and other paperwork in place. All the while, we were marketing ourselves on 3 separate event websites and promoted ourselves as the hot new venue in the area to throw parties. It worked to perfection. But getting where they are today and still growing did not come easy. They signed a 12-year lease and want to remain in the area and be profitable for many years to come. Finances became an issue as getting the business off the ground was costlier than initially assumed. They sought out investors for additional financial backing. Additionally, Terry and Philip took 2 years to build their business. They did so incrementally. They started with the catering business, which is still a robust segment of their overall business. Then they added additional business segments slowly. They were sure to use the 5 C's of marketing techniques as well, touching on customer, company, competition, collaborators, and context.
According to IBIS World, there are 250 identified key success factors for a business. A few of the most critical factors for the restaurant industry include access to a multi-skilled and flexible workforce, an attractive product presentation. The atmosphere and ambiance of a restaurant are essential to attract and retain guests. Proximity to their target markets is essential. The restaurant needs to be in a good, easily accessible location that is close to target customers. And ensuring pricing policy is appropriate. To maintain costs and profit margins on meals, owners must ensure that menu pricing and portion control process is undertaken thoroughly.
In an interview with restaurant owner Terry Tolba, several questions were asked in regards to marketing. Location, does it matter? Terry says location is all that matters in the restaurant industry. Obviously, you have to provide great food, service, and vibe, but none of that matters if you aren't in a neighborhood or market that wants your product. I chose Westwood because there's no location in the village offering the brand that I have curated successfully in other Los Angeles neighborhoods for years. My previous spots, the Hudson and the Churchill, were respected upscale casual experiences that drew a great crowd and scene every week. This scene did not exist in Westwood until Fellow arrived. There are several food establishments and a handful of nice restaurants in the area, but none have the feel, decor, food and beverage offering, and overall vibe of my place. This location needed a chill, hip, and elevated concept to make its way here, so I brought it.
Decor. Does it make sense? That's the question we asked Terry when asking him about the marketing process for his restaurant. His answer was, this was at the top of my list when I signed the lease. The bones of the place were already in place, but no one maximized it until we got here. 30-foot ceiling was just brown bow tie trusses that looked drab and boring, even though it was the main focal point when you walk in. So before we did anything, we hand-painted the ceiling, which took 6 weeks, and it changed the whole room. I wanted to add color on the banquet side of the room to contrast with the black granite and tiled classic Hollywood bar on the other side of the room. The art is abstract and modern, with several nods to classic fellows on the wall, such as Steve McQueen, Andy Warhol, Kanye, and Jay-Z, just to name a few. Bottom line is that we curate a scene every single night and are particular about who patronizes it. You are who you serve is something I've learned over the years. So we built a modern, classically sexy room to attract that type of individual. I wanted to fill our space with elegance and class, so I designed it that way. And they came out.
Next discussed with Terry was ambiance. Does it matter? Terry says, ambiance is the difference. Yes, food and service have to be on point, but setting the scene is where the real draw is. What makes people want to have a glass of wine at my bar as opposed to the 40 other bars within walking distance of us? You guessed it, the ambiance. The energy and warmth of the staff, the music, the lighting, me, my managers, all create a mood and atmosphere that makes our guests feel welcomed and included in what we are doing. If they just want to eat, they will go to Tender Greens. But if they want to eat and vibe, they come to me.
We also asked Terry about the menu and how the menu at Fellow is different from any other restaurant. He replied, our menu is what I call eclectic American cuisine. It is a modern take on classic American fare with twists that make them signature to us. Everything from our salmon tartare avocado smash to our Spanish octopus is created with flavor profiles and imagery you won't find anywhere around here. Again, location and demand. I also made the conscious decision to offer both healthy, vegan, and vegetarian options along with comfort food, with both being exceptional on all levels. Many of our vegetarian and vegan patrons thank us for giving them more than the standard one plant-based option to choose from like most restaurants do. Our chocolate souffle is the original recipe that was served at the Mustache Cafe, which was a famous Hollywood restaurant in my exact space for 30 years. It was our homage to those that did it right before us, and the many of the older neighborhood crowd noticed. Additionally, the dishes are priced to attract that grown and sexy crowd whose palates are more mature and who can appreciate the eclectic variety offered at Fellow.
Executive chef Michael Bryant has created menus that draw on American flavor profiles with influences from around the globe and incorporating them into contemporary dishes perfect for the Californian palate. Chef Michael has designed progressive yet sustainable delicacies using responsibly sourced ingredients for a truly eclectic American experience. Fellows Beverage Program, designed by beverage director and partner Will Figueroa, crafts drinks of both a highly complex technical nature and ones of simplistic beauty. Will's primary focus is to achieve a level of balance of interesting ingredients and craftsmanship, alongside a sophisticated local beer and wine offer, creating a drink experience like no other.
Fellow has a digital presence and can be found in the digital world as well. They have their own app in the iOS system, as well as a presence on Facebook, Instagram, and Yelp. You can also find them mentioned in the Westwood Village app on the iOS system as a place to dine in the area. When accessing the app in the Apple Store, the following were identified as competitors in this industry: Caviar, Tender Greens, the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, Veggie Greens, and Sweet Green. While these food service providers do not compare to the menu or ambiance at Fellow, they are in fact included in the food and restaurant industry and are therefore considered competitors. However, Fellow has differentiated itself by offering an eclectic menu that appeals to a more mature and financially sound demographic.